Who knew that song was coming? Just curious. The most disappointing thing, Apple Music does like your most popular songs of the year that you listen to. It was their 10-year anniversary, so they did the top songs you listened to over the last 10 years. The Friday song was like number 4 for me, and I hate it. All right. You should have picked up materials at that point. I'll talk about them in a moment. A number of you did get your guidelines signed. That's very exciting. If you did get them signed, hold them up in the air. Ava's going to walk around and collect them for me. Thank you. Yeah. Bang. All right. Oh, here we go. If you did not get them signed, I'm giving you a full week. It's okay. It's not a big deal. Okay? You'll get it taken care of. Okay, first official homework assignment. There are 2 parts to 1.1. You're only going to do the first part. I promise you will know where the first part ends and the second part begins because we are not going to get to it today. Okay, I'll talk about that in a little bit. Some of the rules are the same as last year. Okay, last call for those? We good? Okay, I would still like you to check with the answers. A lot of you did a nice job with that last year. Some of you started strong and then trailed off. Let's be honest, it's a very different course. You not checking is going to come back to haunt you a little bit because the odds of you figuring it out later on your own probably aren't as high. So I would make sure that you check, okay? You're still going to upload the Schoology just like you did last year. It can be any kind of scan. If you're finding the insert the images to Google Docs PDF was causing problems, there are other ways to scan. I don't really care. As long as it's one document. What I don't want is 6 pictures, because then I gotta like go through and check each one. It's a pain in the butt. So if what you did last year was probably good. If you have other ways to scan and put them in, that is fine. Okay? But just keep that in mind. I might not stick with this, but for the first unit, you might have noticed, you might have said, hey, where's the homework packet? I just have that's the whole unit right there. That's all chapter 1. So after 1, the homework is there. After 1.2, the homework is there. The double staple, they goofed that up. You're welcome to keep it. If you hate the double staple, which some of you do, you can just remove them and staple the packet in once on your own. Okay, but I wasn't going to get them reprinted because of that. Okay, sound good? Questions? Okay, cool. You'll know where today begins and ends. As I mentioned the other day, 1.1 in particular has some really good extra resources. Okay, you can't use them on an exam, but you can use them on homework. Geometry actually has some really good things out there. Videos, manipulatives that we didn't really have for Algebra 1. Okay, but don't be ashamed. Okay, sometimes you have to use them. Sometimes, you're going to see this today, you might need to cut stuff out at home. I know. It's okay. It's not going to be every day, but if that's what it takes to get the material down, that's what it takes. Your selfies were pretty good. A couple of you didn't include a picture of yourself. That's not a selfie. Most of the 7th graders did not. My algebra kids, they have no idea what's going on. If for some reason you did not get it done, or if you goofed and didn't include a picture of yourself, you can fix it over the weekend. Yes, it is a grade. I'm not going to grade it until Monday to make sure it gets done. Okay, if you need to fix it, that's fine. I did look at a couple of them. They look good. I looked at a couple and they were interesting. Okay, in the other capacity. If you didn't get it done by Monday. If you didn't include an actual picture of yourself, why don't actually include it? Okay, so we should be good. Okay, so we're going to start focusing on chapter 1. These are the tools of geometry. Quick conversation with people around you. What on there do you recognize? Go. Okay, bro, Okay, now some of them pretty obvious. Probably ruler, probably the protractor. You should know what this is after yesterday, if nothing else, right? Compass. Anybody know any of the others are? Okay. No, it's not a banjo. It's not a banjo. I know what you're talking about. Okay, yeah, there is the cube too. Not so much a tool. Not sure about the other ones.
Is it a straight edge?
I mean, yeah. I've heard if you extend it out, they might call it a T-square. It's like an abbreviated version, okay, or just a square to make sure that things are right angles too. Anybody have any idea? What would you use it for? Basically, if you're measuring out an irregular area, okay, we used to call it a meter wheel, but we don't actually measure in meters here because we're weird. But basically, you roll and it measures, kind of like a tape measure, and you can go through it, okay? It's actually very cool. I always called it a meter wheel, but again, we don't use meters here, which I wish we would. Okay, anybody know what that thing is? Clinometer, okay? That's how you could measure an angle of elevation or a slope. You would think like, oh, like, I'm standing on a hill looking up, I can just use a protractor. Not really, okay? It kind of helps you measure the horizon and then also the angle. We actually get to this much later in the year, okay? So it's an actual tool. We're not going to use that, although I thought about bringing you outside and having you like do this, but still. So those are some tools that, you're going to at least talk about and consider, throughout the chapter. Okay, so the first section is about drawing and visualizing geometry, and I think I mentioned it multiple times. I'll try not to keep doing it. That's a tough thing at times, but you can get better at it. If you're not 100% sold on seeing something, that doesn't mean you'll never see it, okay, but you might have to work at it a little bit or do a couple other things. Some of this stuff should look familiar. Okay, so what are these? We thought we addressed it a little bit yesterday. Nets, very good. Okay, that's actually going to be okay. I'm curious. Does anyone know what this is? Yeah, sorry?
Triangular prism.
Is it? Where are the triangles? I don't see the triangles there. Okay. Okay, yeah, not so much what the shape is. What are they trying to show you here? Okay, you can either say, I think I know, I have no idea what they're asking for here. What do you think here? Nicholas?
It's like the parts that can be combined, folded up to make that shape.
No, that's what a net is, not really, okay? It's good that not all of you are telling me, because you know why? This is what we're going to do next week, okay? So the nets should be like, okay, we did a little nets a couple years ago. This thing, you're like, this is what we're going to get to next week, not a big deal, okay? Easy stuff from the beginning. Okay, they like to start with real easy questions. You can cruise right past all the vocab and all that stuff, okay, right into 1.1. Okay, they want to start you out really easy with 2D or 3D. What's that first one? Oh, wow, I thought everybody could tell me. No, is it 3D or 2D? That's all they want. That's actually all they want. Yeah, I heard somebody say it. I heard trapezoidal prism, but it's actually triangular prism.
2D.
Yes, 2D. Rectangle. Rectangles. Okay. Okay, they like to start you out real easy. Okay? We're going to talk about polygons today. I feel like you learned polygons years ago. Okay? See if you can briefly recall with people around you, what are all the qualifications of a polygon? Go. All right, hit me. One of them. One qualifier. One qualifier. Elena. Straight. Has to be straight, so no curves. Layla. It's got to be 3 or more. Okay, good. Can't be 2, otherwise it wouldn't be. I don't want to say it just yet. Or
No ones can cross.
can't cross. There's one other thing. CC. Closed. Good. So a polygon is closed. All sides meet. That's why you need at least 3. If you didn't have 3, there's no way to make that happen, and there's no overlapping, and it is straight. Okay, so ones you probably know: triangles, rectangles, pentagons. What, 5? Hexagon 6, octagons 8. You may know what 7 is. They didn't put it. Okay, it's not septagon actually. Okay, clear. It's heptagon. Nice job. Okay, or oragon. No one cares. Have you ever looked at how they named some of like the larger ones before? It's actually kind of cool. Now there might be others you know. Like 9 is, anybody know 9? Nonagon, you might know 10. Dodecagon's 12. Okay, then there's ones in between. Okay, but if you look, we can skip past this because you all nailed it, but that's an example of a polygon. This has a curve. This is not closed, therefore they're all out. Okay, big shock, it's Greek. So many of these things are Greek. Okay, but I want to go back. Don't worry about concave and convex. We're coming to it later. So we just zipped through a bunch of these. There's your 11. I like undecagon. Okay, undecagon, however you want to say it. Okay, then they start naming some of these other ones right here. They start to sound like dinosaurs after a while, you know what I'm saying? But do you notice decagon? Do you notice how decagon is like in there? So it's kind of like, I mean, I took French, and when we started getting up into like 22, we did like 20 in 2. Then you start naming them right there. Then they start skipping. Then you can get to your megagons. Yes. Yes. So there's actually a lot of ways that you can name them, but eventually they just start adding on like a prefix, so to speak. That shouldn't surprise you. Okay, cool. All right, underline the correct option. So this is basically like this or that. A polygon is formed by, we just did this. It's either 2 or 3. Thank you, 3. You're picking between 2 or 3. Yes, you're taking notes. Fill them in as we go. A circle is not. Very good. Oh, we just did the 6-side? Yep. And the sides of a polygon are always. Okay. As I mentioned, they're going to start almost every geometry lesson with stuff like that. And you're like, oh, it's a piece of cake. And then they're going to start going off in opposite directions. Okay? Ooh, a little round of yay or nay with the polygon cat. Yay, nay? Nay. Nay, good. What does this say? Does this say cross them out if it's not? Yeah, okay.
No, it's you.
Nay. Because what? Overlaps. Good. Yes, this one's good. We actually leave it. There's actually 2 different kinds of polygons. You'll get into them, I think, later in chapter 1. There's concave and convex. Have you ever heard those words before? Sometimes they popped up like in science, but whatever. Okay, you'll eventually get into it. If I forced you to guess at this one, well, it looks like it kind of caves in. We'll get into that later on in the chapter about how you can really know without having to guess. Okay, cool. All right, fill in some notes. Shouldn't be too bad. A net. A net is a 2-dimensional figure that you can fold to form a 3-dimensional figure. There's your book. Get all of you. Good job. A net shows all. Who said all? Yes, it's got to show all of them. It can't be anything hidden. Nice job. All of the surfaces of a figure in one view. Okay? Now this was interesting. Was anybody trying, I know I got a little bit of it in period 5. I'm not used to saying that. I haven't taught a period 5 class in a long time. Was anybody yesterday either thinking about or watching somebody try when we were doing nets of the cube to kind of put one like over here? Was anybody thinking that, trying that? Okay. I had a couple people that tried. Here's why it doesn't work. When you go to fold it, the edges won't meet. Surfaces have to be connected edge to edge. So these are all edge to edge. It lines up. Imagine you're breaking down a box or folding a box back up. The edges have to meet, otherwise the box doesn't close. Okay, so I had a couple people that tried that yesterday. It's not a bad idea. I also had some people that were trying to like cut them into triangles. That's a different story. Okay, but that's what a net is. You probably, when did you do nets? Like 5th grade, 4th grade? Like you did it. Did you do a little bit in pre-algebra or no? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Probably seems like so long ago at that point. Okay. We will spend more time on them. One thing you might not have done is draw them yourself. You probably have found the area of them. Actually, you have to draw them yourself, which is where the visualization comes in. Okay, so you might remember this very easily from yesterday because we did a bunch of it. One of these cannot be folded into a cube. You're going to stand up when I point to the one that is out. Okay, good job. This one. Good job. Yeah, good job. That was nice. Now you're probably like, okay, I've already got the cubes mastered. Well, be careful because it can get to you. Those are the 11 nets. Again, I said it yesterday. You don't have to have them memorized, but you just saw. It doesn't hurt to recognize one, right? Kind of helps. So you don't have to sit there and be like, I need to know all 11 of them. But if one pops up that you know for sure, like this one we've already seen 2 or 3 times, you're allowed to know it. Okay, which other one was it? This one too, right? You can name them, like plus sign, T, cat, I don't care, you can come up with your own names. Okay, but do. Not all of them just work. So then they start to get into questions like this, and I don't want you to actually shout it out because that's no fun. Okay, I want you to think about what the answer would be. Okay, because just knowing it's a cube is not enough. Which of them would be opposite yellow? I don't think you have a space for it, do you? Perfect. Just think about it. Okay, we want to know which one's going to be opposite yellow. And then I'm going to say 3, 2, 1, and then we're all going to say the color that's on our mind, and don't be swayed by other people. Like if you think it's green and then everybody's saying orange, don't go orange. Don't do that, okay? Okay, opposite yellow. 3, 2, 1.
Red.
Hey, good job. Okay. Not too bad, right? Not too bad? These next ones are all kinds of fun. So it says, use the net at the right. Now, I've got it. Oop. I've got the net cut out here. Okay? I'm not going to give it to you just yet. Okay, I want you to think it through first. Okay, but I want you to spend a minute or two. Suppose you fold it into a cube. What number will appear opposite each face, okay, if it were folded up into a cube? Okay? I want you to take a shot at all three of them. Okay? There's more questions that go with this particular pattern. Now, if your thought is, I'm too cool for this, I'm never going to need to cut it out at home, boy, I hope you get every question right at all times. Okay? Which would be great. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Now, once you've got your guesses in there, and I think you'll get the first, I think a lot of you will get the first couple right. It gets weird in a minute. Okay. So I'm not super worried about the first couple questions, okay? In fact, we're going to do the same thing. We're all going to call out what we think the opposite will be before you fold that up, and we'll kind of see how it stands, okay? So opposite 1, 3, 2, 1.
6.
I heard 6. 6 looks good. Opposite 3, 3, 2, 1.
5.
Leaves only 1 right here. Okay? Now, you're probably like, this isn't hard. Just stay tuned here, okay? Go ahead, if you didn't do it yet, fold it up and make sure that what you got is right. Please be gentle. But what I want you to think about, okay, is the orientation. What do I mean by that? Well, if I fold this guy up into a cube, which a lot of them might be folded, some of them I had to make once I, again, saw how many people we have in here. Well, now all of a sudden, I make my cube, and, well, what if the 6 is facing the side, or the 6 is facing up? It doesn't change who's on the opposite side, but it might affect some of your other questions. So I want you to put the net to the side. I don't want you using it just yet. Okay? And I want you to look at the next couple questions. So if this were folded up into a cube, I want you to legitimately try them without folding the cube up. Which number is missing from each view? Okay, so honor system, don't look at the cube just yet. Think it through, see if you have a guess, and then after a couple minutes I will tell you when to go for the cube. Okay? You have to consider orientation. Now one of them is a little wonky. You'll see why, I think, once you start playing with the cube a little bit. Give me a thumbs up when you feel like you've tried all three of them. Yeah, you should not have looked at the cube just yet. So if that same cube were folded up, and again, the cube looked exactly like this. Remember, you got to consider orientation, like which way the 1 and 5 are facing, which way the 4 is facing. What would be the question? Okay, I'll give you a little bit longer, then you're going to discuss, then you're actually going to look at the cube itself, okay, to verify your answers. Okay. Talk about quickly with somebody. What do you think? And then I want you to also look at the cube. Fold it up and look at it. See if you can recreate it. Go ahead.
Yeah, you got the second one.
The 5, you're going to go to the edge of the 5, right? So it's like put it this way, so you just put it that way.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's think this through. Now again, the whole course isn't like this, but if you're at home and you get a question like this and you're like, I really think it's this, don't be too proud to cut one of these up. There are cut up nets in my house that I've had to use when doing problems like this. You get better at it. But the orientation is a little wild because we're not just going to talk about what the number is. We're going to talk about like what does it look like. Now the first one's not too bad. Okay, you might have guessed and been able to figure out what it is. You might have been able to see that visualization. But if you take this and you have the 1 facing this way, 5 is good. Who's the question mark? We all like 4? Okay. Now you might have been like, I got that one, no problem. I didn't even need the cube. Here's where these ones get a little wonky. Because look where the 2 is facing. Now this one we might have some debate about. But if I put the 2 like that, okay, it's not just 2 on top. It's got to be 2 facing that way, so it looks similar. 3's facing that way. Who's kicking around over here? 1. Do we like 1? Now that's the number. How does it look? It's not looking like that. Isn't it looking like, you know what I mean? Yeah, that's where it's like a little wonky. It's 1 sideways. Now they don't want you to write it like that. They just want you to say what the number is. And then when I want the 1 on top, I have to think about, okay, the 4 and the 6, but I need 4 to be facing that way, 6 to be facing that way. Who's on top?
3.
But how does it look? Does it kind of look like that? That's the way it's facing, okay? So the orientation kind of throws a loop at it a little bit in my mind, okay? Again, not going to be an every night thing where you're like, you're kidding, why am I cutting stuff out? But I've had a lot of people like write down answers like, oh, it's obvious. But then when you think about, okay, well, the 1 is here versus here, the orientation can throw things off. That leads to our next one, okay? Now I only have 1 net for this. I didn't give it to everybody. I want you to discuss. The net below folds into a cube as shown. A, B, C, D, E, F, just like yesterday, we saw that one. And I'm going to look at it just like this. B, right there. I want you to consider, you can talk as a group, which letter is on the top of the cube, also how will it look, and which face will not touch B. You might be able to get that one pretty quick. Go ahead and discuss. Okay? You can sketch out if you need to. But also consider how it looks. Like if you were looking at it. Hand up if you feel good about your answers. You got answers. Pretty close? Okay. Okay, cool. All right. So just to prove there's no funny business. Just to prove there's no funny business. That's exactly what we're dealing with. Same net. This isn't like a sleight of hand magic trick or something. Okay. Moxley, come on up. You're going to fold this into a cube for us. Why not? Okay. So he is going to fold this up into a cube for us, show the class, just to let us know, no funny business. I really feel like I'm about to pull off a magic trick though. Okay, you're going to hold it, okay? So right now, that is what we're dealing with, okay? And we're going to get it where it needs to go. We're going to go 3, 2, 1. We're all going to say what we think is going to be on top of the cube if it looks like that. 3, 2, 1. E. He says E. They say E. Show us the B. Show us in front. So it's like that. Okay. Is E on top?
Yeah.
Yay. Round of applause for our... Oh, wait, we're not done.
Oh.
So it's E. Question. Hold it back up. Question. So the letter is E. Does it look like that? How does it look? You want to draw it?
Yeah, for sure.
Cole's going to draw it. And then we will check it.
Looks like it's this.
Round of applause for both of our contestants. Verified. We're going to show it to him. Show it to him. Right there. There's B. Show him. Ooh. Ah. You got to show it to the crowd. Ooh. Yay. Good job. Round of applause for him right here. Next guy. Okay. Cool. Again, the orientation part can get you though. I heard a couple of you talking. You're like, I think it's this letter, but what would it look like? That would be a second question. Okay, because if I'm telling you it folds up and looks exactly like this, that E, okay, you wouldn't draw the E like that. You would actually have to draw it in the way where it matches right there. Okay? The next one, you can actually get this one. I think the second question is easier personally. You could probably get that one without having to fold it up or even consider it. Which face will not touch B when it's folded up? Okay, we're going to go 3, 2, 1. We're all going to say 3, 2, 1. D. D as in dog. Okay, cool. So great example of cutting it out is cool. It's helpful. It's what you need to do to get it right sometimes. I get it. But recognizing that net is helpful. Okay, cool. All right, we go on. So now this is where your artistic skills are like not super challenged because it's a simple shape today. But this is actually drawing a net from a solid. I'm actually just going to let you try this one in groups without me saying anything. That is your box of graham crackers right there. You have 20 centimeters, 14 centimeters, 3 centimeters. What is this shape called? It's a what? Rectangular prism. I would like for you to draw the net. I believe it says a scale on the page, and what does it say? 1 block equals? Go ahead and draw it. Let's see how you do. You can talk about it. You're going to draw the net that would fold up into that. Oh, labeled dimensions. Look at that. Not you.
No space.
Oh, there is. I made it work.
Yeah, mine is like going off.
Mine's up.
It's awesome. Probably is pretty dry. I mean, I don't care anymore.
Did you use the scale properly? Yeah, label dimensions. It would also be a good idea not only to label the dimensions, which we'll talk about. I would consider labeling what's the front, what's the back. That's going to come up in just a moment. There's actually more than one way to do it, but I'm pretty sure there's only one way to do it oriented where it fits on that grid. Luckily, we got time. We can fix it. We got the time. Yeah.
Bro, mine's still going on. The whole side thing is 23 and 2. That is not.
What?
Oh, we can orient.
Yeah.
How?
Like, look at mine.
Find a different. Like, there's like, there's 10 different nests for different lessons.
Yeah, there's not that many for this, but like there's different options.
I look at my
Okay. Now, there's a little bit of variance in this. What do I mean? It's not an unlimited amount of options for this. Okay, there's more for the cube than this box, but you have a little leeway as long as you have things lined up properly. So first of all, if you're like, I have it, but it doesn't fit on the grid, all you would really need to do is rotate it. If you go lengthwise, it does fit on the grid. If you don't believe me, talk to Cole. It fits. Okay, so here's the outline I went with. I want to talk about it. I went top. Okay, now when I say top, I literally mean the top of the box. Okay, then I went with the front. Okay, well, where does my bottom have to be in this regard? Tell me where my bottom needs to be. Tell me when. I heard it. When, right? Okay. So there's my top, there's my bottom, and there's my front. The most important thing when doing these is you need to go edge to edge. So let's think this through. My top, okay, and I don't have the grid on here, but I have it, on my iPad right here. My top is what? How long? Is that 14? This is 6, and this is 20. What has to be going here? How long? Who said 6? Why does this have to be 6? So when it folds up, the edges meet. So when I did this, here's how I did it. And I did this pretty quickly, but again, I've done it for a while. I did my top. I'll list the dimensions. 14 by 6. That immediately means if this is 6, it's got to be 6 there and 6 there. Imagine the box. If you folded them up and the edges didn't align, it wouldn't close. It wouldn't make the actual edge. Okay, so then I put my side, okay, oops, spoiler, you weren't supposed to see what the back was. Pretend like you didn't see that. My side right there. Same thing here. My other side has to go here. Okay, the most important thing, this 6 lines up with that 6. That ensures when you close the box, the edges will meet. This 6 has to line up with this 6, okay, and then your 20s line up, okay? So what is the only thing left for me then? I got them all actually, don't I? Okay. Now you might be wondering, well wait, there's no way I can actually get that to fit on the page. The back actually doesn't need to go there, okay? The back could actually go in a couple different spots. Couldn't it actually go like over here? Or here's why some of you ran out of space. Did you put it down here? Yeah, you didn't do it wrong, but it's not going to fit on that grid. All you need to do is either move it or reorient the page. Okay, but does the lining up of the sides make sense to you, the edges? That's like the biggest mistake I see made. So you can start this however you want. You can actually draw any of them. Okay, so somebody want to tell me, what did they draw first? Which part of it? It doesn't matter. The bottom? Okay, so if you drew the bottom first, wherever I put the bottom. So if you draw the bottom first, put the dimensions in, make sure that this edge lines up, it has to, these edges line up, and then you're good. And then this thing will fold up into a box, okay, pretty easily. These sides will fold up, the top and bottom will fold, and then that will come around or the other way around. Okay, but you have a little bit of leeway where you would put that. There's your visualization. Now when they say label dimensions, I like the way they have it here. They have pretty clearly labeled these matching sixes. That's a really nice way to show it, because then these will fold up and then meet. They show the 20 pretty much once, and then they show the 14s right here to show that they will fold up and then meet as well. You have to have a couple of dimensions labeled. If you have no dimensions labeled at all, it's going to cost you every single time. But the reason I really want you to label them is to make sure that you have everything lined up. Okay? But this isn't the only option. This piece could also be where? Yeah. Okay? Actually, couldn't it also be down here?
Yeah.
Or up here? You don't need them all. Okay? But you have a little bit of flexibility with that because it'll close up. It would just be rotated. Okay? How did that look? Thumb up if it looked great. Thumb down if it looked terrible. Between if it was like, you get better at it. Okay? Now, some of you were thrown off by the scale. Remember, if you like definitely did it this way and you're like it fell off the page, you're not clueless. You just would do it that way to get it to fit on a particular grid. Okay, you'll get another crack at it. Follow-up question. How do we feel about seeing how it folds up into an actual rectangular prism? We feel good about that? That's good. That's important. Then it's just that falling off piece. Okay? So we're good. Okay, a couple of true-false questions. Go ahead and answer them as a group about that. That's not rectangular. What's that? That's a triangular prism. Go ahead. Then the fun's going to begin. That one going, or
I think I labeled it.
you over-labeled?
Yes.
You can dial that back in a little bit, actually.
My students help.
Okay, so there she is. Then we'll talk a little bit about the nets because there's a couple options here. True or false? 3 of the faces are rectangles. True. 2 triangles. Those are your bases connected by 3 rectangles. Those are called the lateral faces. You learned that one, Ms. James. Remember that? That was good. Okay. True or false? 4 of the faces are triangle. It's not even possible. It's not possible. They have to be a pyramid for that to be the case. Okay? And finally, the figure has 5 faces in all. True. 2 bases, 3 lateral faces. Okay? So now here's what you're going to do. I want you to try to draw a net for the figure. I don't want you to just try to draw 1. I want you to try to do 2. There's 2 distinct, slightly different nets. I want you to talk about them with each other and label the dimensions. It does not need to be drawn to scale. So you don't need a ruler other than unless you want to make the line straight. See if you can come up with a couple of different nets that would fold into that. Go ahead, you can talk about them. Remember, edges need to line up. That's the best hint I can give you while you're working through this. Don't forget to put centimeters in there, cm. And again, you don't have to label every single part of it. Anything that folds up should match. A lot of you have 1. Anybody feel good about having 1? I saw a lot of you that had the first one I thought of. Okay, cool. Second one's a little wonky, but that's the way it goes. Is everything lined up? Generated. Well, they have to be the same length. So, like, for example, it goes like, so when I say when it folds up, this is if they are, that's great. like if you put like a 10, this was a 10, you had to move it. Ah, it's just not finished. Yeah, it's not finished.
It's the same thing.
It's a really tiny
Actually, a good bit of you have the second one I was going to show. Okay. Let me see. Okay, now, first of all, let's go with the one that I think would be the most popular, okay? I kind of figured this one would be pretty popular. Let's go hand up if you had this or the rotated version of this, yeah, okay? So here's where people get themselves into trouble though, okay, without looking at every single one. When I say edges lined up, it's very easy with a box because everything is straight. There's no like things coming to a point. But this is not drawn to scale. You're going to see this so much this year. This is a teacher cop-out of, I know it's not drawn to scale, but I can still show it. This 10 needs to match up with, doesn't it have to be this 10?
Yes.
But it gets people because this is part of like a square figure, this is part of a triangle. And truthfully, they don't look the same because they didn't draw it to scale. So the reason some of you might have some that you think are good, if you folded it up, it actually might not line up everything. This is the safest way to do it. People drop the triangles, fold down, they have here, everything lines up. And this is enough labeling for me. If you label, like clearly your 10 coming down, because I went about the slanted piece 7 and 1, 4, that's enough. If you want to over label it because you just feel good about that, that is fine. But you cannot get away with less labeling than that. That would never cut it. Okay? That would look okay? What if I asked you to find the area of the net? You could do that like you were like 4th grade, right? Well, I'm not going to, okay? Anybody, oh, blue screen. I hope I get this fixed today. Does anybody have this one or something very close to it? I was impressed. I saw a lot of you coming for this one. So let's see if it works. It does look like a rocket ship, okay? So here's what I mean. Everything lines up even if you don't think so. I love this one because I think it's the easiest way. Hey, I think it's the easiest way for somebody to see the matching 10s. Even though the one is like slanted, they still line up. Those match up. And I think you can very easily see how this folds up. Up, up, around. Very nice. Same thing with the labeling. Those are the two most popular ones. Now, if you have one I didn't show, you'd have to look at it hard and say, are all the edges going to line up? There's not as many as you might think, okay? But pretty good. I have one more. This one fans out a little bit more. I saw people working toward this one, I think. Do you have this one? This one? The reason I like these is because the 10s line up so cleanly, okay? So, couple reminders. Couple reminders. The homework is the next part. It's right in there. You will know when it ends. We're going to do the rest of 1.1 next week. You're not listening. We're actually not going to do it Monday because Monday there's a goofy schedule because there's an assembly. So we're going to do something different. Then we're going to do the second part of 1.1 Tuesday, okay? You can start looking at that right now. I would like the nets back. Have somebody bring the nets back to me, please. Right. Come on, somebody do it.